Hello, everybody, and welcome to this presentation of how the EM works and how we are organized actually in the management of the article. So it's very technical. We don't discuss, the philosophy of all that, but I'm trying to answer your very specific questions. And looking at the success of the of this idea, I mean, there's a real need for that. So I'm going to share my screen. Great. So I'm going to talk about the process, talk about reviewers, decision, revisions, and final decision, special section, and supplement. So this, hopefully, we can do in an hour. If we need to come back another time for the supplements, we can do this. So just a reminder of how we function. So we have a submission. There is a first triage that is done by Mike and myself, and we eliminate a lot of articles, about 80% of them that are mostly not a good fit. For those which we want to assign to you, there is a blind check which is done now by the journal coordinator, who is part of the production team. And then once the blind check is done and we eliminate on the PDF elements that can allow the reviewer to identify the author, we assign to one of you. So this is the current system. It's direct. Mike, I select the associate editor. Mike assigns to you, and there you have the option of rejecting and sending back to us, and we will reject without review. And this is working better and better. If you feel that an article is not right fit or not interesting or not your assignment, not your domain of expertise, send back. So then once you have it, so once it's assigned to you, you select reviewers. We're going to see this in detail. Then you send me an intermediate decision. And when I got your decision, if it's an article that has statistics, it will be sent to WA. And if it has maps and tables, it will be sent to Michelle. And then I send the final decision. If it's reject after review, that's gone. If it's accepted, that's gone. But if there is a revision, we send it to the authors. When the revision comes, it goes first to WA and Michelle if they were involved, so that before I assign it to you, and so that you can always look at their comments before deciding when you want to re-invite reviewers, etc. So this is the process. So now, what to know about reviewers? We're going to take an example, but the system offers keywords, and you are familiar with them. I just want to answer also some of the questions that you've asked of how you can order the results of a search. And there is an issue that we cannot clean the system for the email. So maybe now I've heard some of you saying that maybe with AI we would be able to do that, but the problem is that if we send emails and they are not, there's no one to receive them, they are obsolete, we don't receive the answer. It goes to somewhere in the editorial manager. So it's very difficult for us to know whether an email is still active or not, and probably half of the emails there are not active. Then there is this issue of how much time you give to the reviewer. How can you avoid the automatic cancellation, an invitation of them, and how do you delete or modify a reviewer. So I'm going to go into the Editorial Manager. Let's go into the new assignments and take for example this one, and we want to invite reviewers. Okay, so I mean this is I'm not for this is sex orientation, intersectional disparities. So you can go in personal classification, and let's say that we choose here LGBTQ here, and just let's take just this, and we want to search for reviewers. This you all know how to do. And we have those responses. But as you know well, these responses have the average medium rating, and they also have the number of times, you know, a reviewer was invited. There are all those statistics. But you want to make sure, and as you see here, they are ordered by the average review rating. On top, I have 95, then I have 80, then I have 75, then I have 70, 33, etc. So how did I get this? So in order to understand, you have to go back to this, this screen. And you have these set preferences here. And if you go into set preferences, you can order the list in which your search is going to be sorted. So I have it as average rating in the first, and then they are sorted, you know, in order. So they will be sorted by average rating score, and then by the total number of completed reviews. So if you have two people with a high score, but one has completed one and the other 10, you know, the average is interpreted differently. And you can always reorder this. For example, if you want to do this, have this number, this at, you know, ascending review name first, you put a 1 here, and you have to reorganize the others. Or if you do submit, this is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's not what I want, so I keep it like that. And so this will order your search as you want. And then you have also my suggest reviewer preference, same thing. I have it ordered by highest rating, completed review, etc. The rest I don't care too much, but if you want to change, if for example total number comes first and average comes second, you do it like that. This is not what I want, but just to show you. And so apparently many of you don't know this issue of setting preferences. Now, when you search for someone specifically, the best criterion for search is the email if you have it. This will lead you directly to the person if you're searching for someone specific. So any question about this aspect of searching for reviewers?
I did not know about setting the preferences. That's very helpful, Alfredo. And I also, I think, relied too heavily on last name for searching than email.
So again, if we go here and search for we add this, we search, and you're going to see that it actually works. It didn't work. What happened? We have this 000 here. I don't know why, but it's probably because it's a combination. It starts working here, 75, 70, 58, etc. Because it's a combination for which we don't have a lot of um, of solution. Okay, so let's go back to this. One thing is that it's always good to combine a DEM search with your own search, and then you know how to enter new reviewers. Or is it something you want me to show you how to enter a new reviewer?
Can I ask one question about that,
Please,
Alfredo? It's a
please,
simple one,
please,
and that is,
please.
let's say I find Lorna Thorpe as a reviewer and it shows Lorna Thorpe is now at NYU, but Lorna Thorpe used to be at CUNY. And in the EM, it shows Lorna Thorpe at CUNY. I add the new reviewer information. Do I do anything with the old reviewer information?
Yes, please. So that's where we are here with delete or modify. The only way we can modify a system is to write to the journal coordinator and to ask the journal coordinator, it's one word, the journal coordinator, or two words, journal.coordinator at apha.org, and she will, currently her name is Elizabeth, she will change go into the EM and modify. I'm not sure that you can modify, but it's very important. Or if you find two Lorna Thorpe, you can ask for having the two record mixed. Yeah, Vicky?
Isn't there some way for the manager to automate this stuff? I mean, it's a lot of steps. It makes you not want to do. I mean, it's like I have to get it, then I have to go find that, I have to send it. Isn't there somewhere where they can automate a check mark or something that somebody else does this work? I mean, it's a lot of clerical work on us. And so I'm trying to find out, can't this system be pushed to do this a bit better? Because I don't get this in some of the other systems where I have to do all that when something's up. I just check it. And then it's just like I can't send something without it going through you. It should be the same as I want to delete something and somebody has to be the checkpoint, not me doing the work of it.
Okay. That's a very good point. Adding a flag, and I will propose it. Actually, I have criticized that system forever. I would like us to have our own, but this is a very, very cumbersome and system. If you don't have the same problem with other journals that we use this one, then the problem is on our side. But so that's a great point. I want to show you how to set times. This is also not a great, but let's say we take this person and we invite that person as a reviewer. There were so many here. So we do proceed, and we have here that person. You can go and customize the invitation. For those who never done that, at the bottom there is the person, there is you, and there is me. You can have only you, you can remove me, you can leave only me, you can do whatever you want with the signature. This was what we agreed to do at some point with the editors, but you can edit this. But then you have here a due date. And so the due date needs to be there. The problem is that at the end of the due date, after 21 days, the system is going to automatically uninvite the person. So I've been asking to have only the automatic uninvitation be removed, but this hasn't been solved yet. So if you don't want the uninvitation to occur, and the advantage of having a due date that is realistic, like 14 days, is that we'll know when that person is late. But if you don't want it, you just put it to 50 or you put it to 100, and they will never be uninvited. So currently, that's the only solution I've been told we have. If you put 0, the system will not accept it. It will tell you one or more due dates, etc. needs to be. So 0 is not a solution. You have to give them more times. Do it as long as you are on top of your invitation. That's okay. But I won't be able to track it and to tell you, when I look at how old the paper is, whether some reviewers are late or not. Okay, any question about reviewers?
Yes. Could you explain to me the process back on that screen where we see invited, alternate, and I can't remember the third one. What is the relationship between the invited and then the alternate? Because is that another workaround with the due date? Meaning if I select some as invited, right? And they time out because I haven't heard from them, does it automatically go to the people I've selected for alternative reviewers? Alternate reviewers?
If you, I'm going to get some reviewers here. So we used to have invited or alternate, but we stopped using this alternate because we used to invite let's say 3 or 6, and in case these didn't respond at some point, and they were less than 3 responded, automatically the alternate would be taken.
Right.
But it's better not to use it. Just invite everybody.
Okay. All right, because that's how I've been using it. I thought that if the invited people timed out, then the alternate would automatically, but you're saying it doesn't even work. So just deal with it.
You lose time. You lose the 15 days, or if you now put it to 100 days, they will never, be considered as having not answered. It's
So
better
can we
not.
remove that then? Just and what is
The
proposed?
problem is that we cannot change anything on those screens.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Lisa, this is Paul. I might comment that in my first 3 or 4 years, I did the sort of standard, 3 invitations and 3 alternates, and there was never a time when I got the first 3 people who I invited to actually agree. So I just skip that altogether, and I invite 10 or a dozen people all at once.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, good point. So I'm going back. So how can we disable automatic withdrawals? So this we cannot, we just can increase the time. How do reviewers formally agree to the assignment in the editorial manager? So I could show you by inviting a reviewer, but it just, so when you invite a reviewer, they have several options. They have access to the abstract that you send. If they say they accept, then they will be automatically sent the full paper. If they say they refuse, they have the option to suggest new people. So am I understanding the question correctly? I don't know who asked it, but it's one way you can check it is inviting yourself as reviewers. So in your next paper, you invite yourself as reviewer, and you'll see exactly what the reviewer see, and that's very useful. How do you bring up reviewers in the editorial rank? We saw that. How do you search for reviewer by topic and sort them based? Yes, we saw that. How do you suggest a deletion? Yes, you have to contact the journal coordinator, but the idea of having a flag is a very good one. How do you turn off the function that automatically adds reviewers to the pool unless a paper is accepted? This, I asked Brian, he said we cannot do that because the people actually, the authors would be lost for the production team, and it would be very complicated to find them after. So it's a function that production wants to keep. So everybody is added to the pool when they submit an article. It would be great otherwise.
That is actually on the second stage when a decision is to be made. And for example, you got the comments from the authors answering the reviewers. So how can I send the paper with the revisions once again to the reviewers who send me their comments, so they can actually review the authors, answer all the questions and comments?
Okay, so you have this option. Let's go to the main menu. Let's take submission with review completed. So let's take this one and invite reviewers. Do you see my screen correctly?
Yeah.
So you have search entire base, all reviewers, inactive reviewers. Yeah, this is it's below. Below you have the people who anyone can help. There is the possibility of selecting from.
Yeah. Yes, you just have to scroll to the right. It doesn't always show up until you move the line at the bottom. You just need to move that to the right, the bar, because you're not. Yeah, then it should have select from previous reviewers. Okay, now you've stumped me.
So
I think, is it because you've just received these reviews, so you haven't received the revision from the authors? Do you have anything in your editorial manager where you've just received the revision and you need to send it out for re-review? Because I think that's where it comes up. And you do see that box of select from previous reviewers.
Yeah, that's where it comes up.
But
it should be right there in the choices. It should be previous reviewers, where you have my publication, personal classification, there will be, and then you click and it will give you the individual that review and tell you that was first review, second review, etc., etc.
okay, so I that's what I know, but I don't understand. Maybe because I haven't assigned. No, they are assigned to me. Anyway, there should be somewhere select from already involved reviewers somewhere, and I just.
Yeah, I just saw it in my screen. Thank you.
Found it? Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, great. So, all right. So, any other question about reviewers?
I have a just
Yeah, please.
start. So because so many people just don't respond to reviews or reject, how many people are you suggesting we invite right out of the gate, right? Like, is it 10? Is it
10.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's not a magic number, but I feel like I'm not inviting enough, and I'm doing around 5 or 6.
Yeah. It depends. Sometimes, according to the topic of the paper, you'll have more response of the interest of the paper or things like that. But if you invite 10, and once you have enough, you can also always uninvite the one in excess. But yeah. I think if anyone wants to chime in about your numbers, just.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it depends on how motivated reviewers are to respond to an article. You can't always predict it, but for a long time, it was very easy to get LGBTQ reviewers because it was still fresh. Now it's kind of tailed off a little bit.
All right, there was Vicky and Luisa.
For me, it also depends on whether I'm inviting people that I know. So when it's a personal invitation, I have a gauge of how likely they are to review, and I say something. I mean, I add a little stuff, why I'm asking them to review, kind of thing. And then typically I will get a better response. The other issue is what Stuart is saying. There are certain papers that, you know, particularly if they're like same old, it's almost like people don't want to review them, you know? And so I really give thought to whether or not only am I going to get a review, but is it worth reviewers' time? You know, I take and really read the paper, and that's what some people are complaining about is, you know, I'm just getting papers and it's nothing new, and everybody's saying I'm the first because they haven't read the literature. So
Yeah.
the issue of whether a paper should just automatically go out is a big deal with me.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. And we tried indeed to have you select as much as possible the ones you want to go out. Luisa.
I will add what Vicky just say. I usually pay attention to the rating of the reviewers. I pay attention if they accept invitation and how likely, that's going to determine how likely they are to accept your invitation. For people that I know, I send a personal note from my email and I just say, listen, I think you will be a good fit for this or whatever or not. But I pay attention to whether people accept invitation before.
Okay, great. There's someone, that's a very good point. Is there anyone who's raising the hand right now?
Yes, Alfredo.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I don't know if you want to go back to the screen or not, but there's also
Which
an option
screen?
for searching for reviewers.
Yeah,
So where it says last name,
yeah.
you can click down and you can scroll down to personal keywords. And that's really helpful to me if it's a topic that's not in the list of classifications we have. So if you want to do bisexuality, or you want to do incarceration, or you want to do cost effectiveness, and those things aren't existing keywords, you'll find a lot of people have entered those keywords.
Indeed. And you see here they're classified by on 4 and not on. Okay, we need to move at some point. So Vicky, please, but I want also to have you followed the personal keyword issue, or do I need to repeat that? So you go in personal keywords here, personal keywords, and then you enter the value you want, in this case bisexuality, and you search. And this is going to be different from maybe personal classification. That's what you were saying?
Yes, because the personal classifications are from a drop-down menu.
Okay.
But
Great.
not keywords.
Yeah. That's great. All right, Vicky.
I'm okay. We can move on.
All right. So I wanted to say something important about the decisions. So there are, there are all those decisions. I know, reject without review, minor revision, major. The accept with this one, it needs to be explained a little bit more. If you send me an accept with minor revision, it means that you don't want to see the paper anymore. You have final comments and you want to know, I mean, I could look at them when they come back, but you don't want to have the revision again. If you want to see the revision, always use minor revision. Minor revisions could be signed by you and accept with minor revision also, but I usually consider them as, your final decision is made, you just have minor points. And of course accept. But this is important. Don't use accept with minor revision if you want to see the paper again. The other thing is the issue of the signature. And this is something I'm not sure everyone understands. If you have comments to the authors and you sign them, you will sign the decision letter. I won't. I will just have you, as long as it's not the final acceptance, because these by law, I need to or by bylaws, I need to sign them. But everything else is going to be signed by you and direct communication between you and the authors. If you write your comments but don't sign them, like Lorna Thorpe or Alfredo Moravia, AJPH editor, associate editor, or whatever, I will send anonymous comments and I will BCC you. You see, like Eric, for example, he always his name, he says, contact me if you need anything. So he will be CC'd always and he signs everything. But some of you send me comments. I'm not sure if you want to sign or not, but if you don't explicitly sign, I will keep the letter confidential with respect to who is the associate editor. Any question about that?
Okay, so now I understand something that makes a big difference. So if the letter that goes out has your name and my name, then when you send the comments and you say it's the associate editor, don't they know then, even it's anonymous, that it was, I said it?
There's not your name. If you didn't sign it, there will not be your name anywhere. You will be BCC'd, and there will not be your name. I never sign a letter with you, either you
Okay.
or me.
Okay, maybe okay, I have to work through this. Okay, I think I understand.
Maybe you're talking about the reviewer's invitation where.
Yeah, I am. That's what I was realizing.
Yeah, but this is only because some editors don't want to sign the invitation for the reviewers. They just leave me. And or some of them also thought that if I were signing, it would give a little bit more weight to the invitation. So that's why there are these options. All right.
Operator, sorry, just to make sure I
Oh,
understand.
please, Laura. Yeah.
I'm fine for my name to go on stuff. I've just never really known about this. So if when I'm writing comments to the author, so right now I think I just put like associate editor and then write my comments, but you're saying that I can put associate editor Laura Ferguson, and then you'll know that you can put my name on the letter as well. Is that right?
Exactly. So in your comments, you say you should do this and this and that, and I recommend this. Laura Ferguson, whatever degree you want to add, associate editor, AJPH. I know you want to sign it, and you'll be CC'd. So people will know it's you and will have your email if they want to contact you.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. So now let's go to revisions. So a couple of things. It's usually there's not much problem, but just you should know that if Wa and Michel were involved in the first revision, they had comments, they will see the paper, the revision before you. So you don't need to say, I want Wa to see it, because you will have her decision and comments on the system when you get to yours. Sometimes I forget to ask Michelle on time or Wa, and so sometimes I may have missed it, but it's really the rule that when revision come back, first to Wa, because if Wa said reject, then it's a major consideration for you, and you may want to stop it there or not. It's up to you. Again, Wa protects the journal, and she said reject if she thinks the article is weak, but you're never obliged to follow her recommendation. If you still want to have the revision, you can continue and ask them to explain, etc. It's the other thing is that please don't ask for 2 major revisions. It's a very poor prognosis. If you really need to have a second major revision and the author didn't respond well to the first one, it's going to end up as a late rejection in the end. Try to avoid that. If you want to read a new revision, we go into minor, etc. But please avoid several majors. Again, you'll end up rejecting late most of the case. But you may have a good reason. That's I totally respect that. But in general, I may ask. Any question about revisions and final decisions? So we move into special sections. So special sections, have existed for a long time, but they still need to be streamlined in their organization. We never really had a protocol for them. But to answer your question, how do you organize all paper in the special section into one file for easy access, even if they are assigned to various AEs? We do this systematically for supplement, not necessarily for a special section, but we can have a special directory. All the papers for this section may be flagged and put in the same place. So it will appear on your screen. You have to ask for it, and you will have it on your main screen, and you'll be able to access all those papers at once in the same directory. But you need to ask for it. Because we have all the supplements linked for all the special section, maybe a little bit tedious, but will do if you ask for it. How do you ensure a theme or a coherence of topic in special section? Well, that's how the special section are selected. And they usually have about a specific question, and then you invite those articles. So it's a little bit up to you to invite. Okay, Vicky.
Yeah, okay, this is where I'm getting confused because there is a theme for a special section and people get their articles in, but don't you internally, it seems that the experience is, well, the papers just go out and they go out to whoever the 3 or 4 people are. But if everybody just takes their paper and the other person doesn't know, you could end up with 3 papers on one, aspect of that. Shouldn't there be some way that we can see all the papers and we have a discussion so that we don't accept 3 of the same topics, but instead we work at getting different things that reflect that? Or is that just the will of whoever the group is?
No. I mean, first of all, almost all the time, special sections, we are not talking about supplements here. We're talking about special section are all invited papers. So you invite 5 or 10 of papers of all type. And so what you have invited a priori. It's not
no, that the case with at least one of the special sections I'm on, a call went out and people came in.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm used to what you're saying, but the other is then when it gets distributed to the 4 people, we each could have, say, a child tax credit paper, and we can't see the other papers. And
That's
so
right.
that's what I'm saying.
That's right. Sorry, there have been some call for papers. In this case, you don't know a priori what you get. That's what is important is to have a leader in the special section that can communicate with all of you and assign and know which associate editor is going to be assigned which article. And it should be a discussion among yourself in order to know a priori which one you want to keep and which one you want to reject without review. So that's something. I mean, I think special sections from call for papers, they should always be flagged into one place, and then there should be some organization between the leader of the section and the other associate editor as to the organization. Tanya and two other persons.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, the special section on common ground in public health that we did a year or so ago. The small group of 3 editors, guest editors, and we met on a regular basis once a month, and we set up a grid and reviewed the articles together and decided on which article each person should review, and then we selected papers based on the content as not to duplicate content. And so, I mean, it worked out pretty well. So, I mean, that's the way we did it, but we had kind of a structured approach, and we just
Yeah.
had regular meetings and made decisions jointly. Over.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
That's a good system. There are who's after Tanya, because I only Laura.
Thanks, Alfredo. Yeah, I just had a question. Is it possible that there be available a list of the special sections in the pipeline and whoever's leading on them? Because it would be great to, like, I would love to feed into a bunch of different special sections, something on rights or an international perspective, or like there's ways that these things could, I think, augment special sections, but I often don't know what's happening. Could that information be made available so that then we could reach out to whoever's leading to gauge their interest in something like that?
Yes, I got it down. We'll do that.
Thank you.
Ethan.
Yeah, I was just gonna sort of piggyback off of what Tanya was saying. This is something that Stuart and I have been doing, although I have yet to very well organize the spreadsheet, but we just have like a Google sheet that we're using where everything I get assigned and everything he gets assigned, you know, you put the manuscript number, you put the title, you put what kind it is, you know, you have a way to sort of say, is it under review right now? Has a revision come in? Have you rejected it? Have the peer reviewers rejected it? And then, you know, you're left with a final sort of list that then, even if you only meet once at the very end of everything, you can sort of say, here's where we stand for the issue.
That's a great way of doing it. Thank you. Google documents, etc. I think each group will have to organize themselves as they see better, but yeah, it requires some coordination between the associate editors that are involved. What do I have here? All submission is same EM folder. Yeah, we can do that. Leader. So if the leader decides to assign specific, because we are going to assign the paper to the leader of the special section, and if the leader wants to assign other editors as editors, it needs to go back to me, and I will reassign the so you send me a decision or a note, and I reassign. If what you can do is assign your other colleagues as reviewers, but they won't be able to invite reviewers. If you want them to invite reviewers, you have to assign them as associates, and this I can only do as of now. So it's just a back and forth. All right, this was for special section supplements, and we may be able to get to through this agenda ahead. I hope it's useful. There is several important elements. First of all, when we contract a supplement, we select one associate editor as being the AJPH side on the project. For editors emeriti who don't get a honorarium anymore, they can get an honorarium from the supplements. And the idea was that would compensate the fact that they don't get anything from AJPH. But I think the issue of the honorarium for supplements can always should always been clarified if you have any doubt. But that's why often in the selection we may ask first the emerita and then go to other if we haven't found a person. We select you according to your expertise, interest in the thing. Those supplements are crucial for the survival of the journal, as you know. So even though they are a little bit of more editorial work, they can be very interesting and they are very, very important. So the important here, the key strategic or tactical element in the supplement is the way you're going to manage the guest editors, because you are going to have several guest editors who are eager to work as editors. And what I recommend, and some of you have much more experience than I, but give them as much responsibility as you can for all that is editorials and notes. You know, these are not a priori externally peer-reviewed material. We peer review most of them, but they are not considered as such. What you should keep for you is the essays and the research article, which is really what gives the journal its respectability in the first place. There's a lot we can do on the notes and the editorials once they are reviewed, etc. But the quality of the review and the assessment of the essays and the research article is another story. So just make them work, because otherwise they're just standing there idle and they only complain. So the secret of those supplements is to have the guest editor working. They're usually very competent people from the field, and we can enter them as reviewers, and you can invite them as a reviewer, or they can be entered as editors, and they can do themselves all the review process, etc. So that's what I have to say about guest editors. What is the correct process for associate to invite guest editors? So the guest editors are decided on the contract, but then you can have them as reviewers or as editors. For this, you have to tell Mike Henry, who is actually the person in charge of the production of the journal now. Brian has moved up as manager. And how do we assign papers effectively to guest editors? Again, you can do it as reviewers or as editors. Any question? Yes, Lorna.
I'm in the middle of one of these now, and you're aware of this,
Yeah.
Alfredo, and it's a particularly tricky one because, you know, this topic I have found to be more susceptible to people not accepting to be a reviewer or declining or just not responding. And the quality of the submissions have not been great. And the guest editors have been in a role of advocate. And so, you know, we're just in this situation where we're trying to tighten the quality of the papers, and I haven't been able to effectively get the guest editors to be responsible for the quality. I don't know if anyone else has been in that circumstance before or has advice for me. We're getting there, but
I think I don't want to open too much on this because we have only 2 minutes left. But in my experience, without all those supplements, we can always reach consensus on notes and editorials, but we should be very strict on the research articles and essays. And what we have often done in the past is to reconvert research article and essays into editorials so that the theme or the topic covered by them could be still in the supplement. And in terms of reviewers, the guest editors and the funders are supposed to give us list of reviewers that we could tap into. So every supplement is different, and I understand that sometimes they are difficult. But if you have a supplement and you accept no research articles and essays, and you have some, the agreement on notes and editorials which you were not 100%, that's okay for the journal. What hurts us is if we have research articles and essays that are not of the quality of the regular issue. That hurts us. So I want to talk about the process, the editorial process, to make sure everybody sees it clearly, to discuss, how we select reviewers, the different type of decisions, because I'm not sure everybody understands what the implication of each decision is. How do we deal with revisions and final decisions, special section, and supplement? So the process that we currently have is the following. We changed it recently. So we have the submission, and this is seen by Mike and I as Mike Costanza as a first triage. And most of the submissions get desk rejected there. Up to 80% of them are desk rejected, mostly because of lack of fit. They are not for us, or they are too old, or things like that. But about 20% of them gets to the journal coordinator, who's at the production team, which blinds the manuscript, and then Mike assigns it to a associate editor. So I have selected the associate editor, and Mike sends it to the associate editor. The associate editor can desk reject at that point too. So there's a lot of what we let go, we triage in because we think the associate editor will be more competent than us to consider if this is original, if it's worth considering. So that step is very important. There's no obligation to send out for review an article that we send. First, you need to say, yeah, I'm interested in this paper. I think we could do a good job about it. I think if we publish it, it's going to make a difference. And then decide to invite reviewers. So you have deal with reviewers, you get the reviews, you send me an intermediate decision. Then if the article has statistics, it goes to WA automatically. I send it to her as soon as there are statistics so that we get her review. If there are tables and figures, it goes to Michelle. So then when I have all the elements, your decision, Michelle, if relevant, I send the final decision. It can be reject, or it can be accept, or it can be revision. If we have a revision, the author sends the revision, and there, if Wa and Michel had intervened in this article, I send that to them first. So it's very important for you to know this, because sometimes Wa says there's a fatal flaw And so she says reject. And so you may want to consider that before any continuation. But so when the article comes with the revision for you, it has been checked by one Michelle when relevant, and then we start the same process. So any question about our editorial process?
So Alfredo, where's
Yeah.
Fazano's row? Fazano.
So she used to be in there, but she's not anymore.
Okay.
Because she used to do the blind check, but actually we don't need an editor to do that. With it's much faster, done much faster with the journal coordinator, and she used to take care of the assigning the associate editor, but it was a useless step. Actually, we were losing a lot of time by doing this, and so I've rationalized the system so that we lose as less. I mean, we don't lose much time, and actually. Her activity was an administrative activity. There was not very much editorial input, so it's just as well done by the way we do it now. So yes, she's not anymore in this process.
Thank you.
Any other question? Okay, so let's go to the reviewers, and there were series of questions about, oh, sorry, the editors. How can we disable the automatic withdrawal of reviewers after 14 to 21 days? I'm going to show it to you. There's no way we can do that, but you can prolong the time to respond. How do reviewers formally?
You just go to that details and just change their date of
I'll show, yeah, I'll show you exactly. I'm going to go in the editorial manager. I just want to show you the question. How do reviewers formally agree? That's they receive an invitation letter and they have options to respond. What I recommend is that you invite yourself. Invite yourself as a reviewer so that you will see exactly the process and you will understand how they, they receive the invitation, they can say they're interested. If it's a full paper, they have the abstract and they can decide, yes, I'm interested, I'm not interested. How do you bring up reviewers in the editorial rank? By their review rating. So I'm going to show you this right now. How do you search for reviewers by topic and sort them based on their review rating? So that's kind of same question. I'll show you. How do you suggest a deletion of reviewers from the pool? So this, you need to go to the journal coordinator, but we are going to have a special flag for this so that she can see when there is a problem and take care of it without you having to write. But currently, you have to write to the journal coordinator and tell her there is a problem with this this record. And how do you turn off the function that automatically adds reviewers to the pool unless a paper is accepted? This is not possible because it's used by the production meeting to identify the authors and things like that. So there's no way we can turn off that function that adds reviewers. Once someone has submitted, they are automatically visible in our search. So I'm going to go through all those points, which I have summarized here, with using my my access to the. So let's say I go in the new assignments and I take an analytic essay and I want to invite reviewers. All right. So the first thing is that if you go to personal classification, for example, and you choose, let's take one like ethics, and you add this classification, and you search for reviewers. So you're going to have a list of people, but what you want is you want them to be ordered by some criterion. And in order to do this, when you are in that screen, you have here set preferences. And you see my reviewer display preference refers to when you click on personal classification, my suggest reviewer preference refers to that. So if you go in here, you have the options of selecting the order by which the reviewers are going to be sorted. So I choose first the date of last review completed because I want to have recent reviewers. I want to keep them from the old database which is used. So I choose this first, and then I want the average ranking, and then I want to know how many reviews they have completed. This is what I use. The rest is not so important. Now, let's say you want to use the average ranking first. You would put 1 here and 2 here and do submit. And if you do this, then the order in which your records are sorted will be different. But let's say we don't do that. So now you can search the entire database or all reviewers or reviewers by removing the inactive reviewers. So it's better to choose select from reviewers. And then you go to personal classifications, and let's say we take ethics again, we add it here, we search. You can have several, you can have and now what do we have? We have this selection that appear here, and as you see, last review declined in 2016, and you have a manuscript rating of 92, and you have 3 reviews completed. If you go to the next one, was 2012, the manuscript rating was 75, and he's done 2 reviews, etc. And so the system has classified the reviews. There is a problem, however.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that because the average review rating, like on the 80, for example.
Yeah.
But if you go down, I think you'll see it too. Some of them are on a 4-point level, 5-point.
Exactly. That was exactly what I was going to say. In 2010, more or less, they changed the classification system from 0 to 100 to 1 to 5. And so when you see this 80 and you see those were old review, you have to go into the name of the person, and you're going to see that that person had the 80 and then 00. So that's not so informative. And but if you scroll down, for example, that person had 26 completed review with an average rating of 76. So if we go and look at those 26, you see that that person had a 90 in 2010, but then has had 3, 4, 5s, etc. So you have to go beyond the classification, but it will give you the highest classification. And here, for example, you would have this person. She has an average of 5, and she's done 4 completed reviews. And if we can go and look at her, and we have the 5, 5, 5, 5.
Wow, that's an all-star.
So the when you order them, as I tell you, this was a recent person, recent review, 4 review, average of 4. You can find a lot of great people here. So it's, if you don't do this sorting, you're going to have them by alphabetic order of name, and the best reviewers may be lost somewhere. Now you can also have more than one personal classification. We had you can have COVID-19 and ethics and gender and global health, and so, and you search for reviewers, and now it's going to be a completely different story. The people that have been selected are going to be different, and since you have COVID, they are all going to be recent, even though some of them may have old reviews too. So, okay, any question about that?
So, Alfredo, is there a way we can restrict the time range? Because you said there was kind of change in terms of a rating system. And then I feel like if you go too old, the people may change job, the email doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. So the only way you can do this is by looking at the date of last invitation. There's no way you can restrict the range of time for selecting the reviewers.
When you select a review, you go to classification, you go to, I forgot that part. It seems many ways you can do it. When you select the reviews, which screen you start first?
If you go to personal classification is one option.
Okay.
The other option is to search by personal classification. You see that?
Yeah, yeah.
And people have personal classification, personal keywords.
Okay.
And the difference is that if the word is not in the options of the personal classifications that are in the system, this is a table. When we go here, we have this table. But suppose you want something about China, and there is nothing about China here. So you could go to personal keywords and see if someone has China.
This seems like they are from China's Institute rather than
If you click on their name, for example, you should see their personal classification would have to include China for that to have been done, right? Yeah, right there in the personal keywords. It's the second one.
Exactly.
Thank you.
So you wouldn't get it from the table that's in the system, but you would have from the words they've added.
Mm-hmm. What I found especially helpful on the keywords is, as you say, if something's not in the classification, that if you do a keyword, it's going to be a very small, oftentimes a very small group coming back, but it's pretty specific because you've asked for something on hantavirus or something. It's quite targeted.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we've seen keywords, order search, obsolete emails. Again, if there is some obsolete emails, you see next to that author, you have this flag, okay?
Mhm.
Set flags. And these are personal flags.
Mhm.
And that's where you select them if you want to have them reviewer of the year or whatever. If you know the email is defunct, you could select this, but there will be a new flag saying that there is a problem with this record, please check. There may be multiple records for the same person, etc. Once the journal coordinator does the correction, the person will add this V, green V, and you will see it associated with the author.
So on
There's
that one, Alfredo, if it comes back, let's say you send out the email, it bounces back. If you go ahead and put defunct email, is someone from the journal actually going and then checking on how to correct that email?
It may be, but at least you should not. I mean, or another editor will be careful not to use it. But the problem is that if the email is defunct, you will rarely get an incoming email, telling you this, because they go into the EM. They don't come back to us, and that's why it's so complicated to clean this thing. You need to send them a personal email from your personal email in order to know that the address is defunct. Then, where are we? Set times, all right? So let's go back here. Let's say we select this person. We go to the bottom. I mean, there's a way of limiting the number of people you want to see. We proceed. And here we have Ping Zhao and the due date. So first of all, you must know that you need to personalize the invitation. So there is an abstract here, but it's with you and me. But you can put whatever you want here. You can put you alone. You can put me alone. Since I'm the second part is embedded in the email, so that's why I'm appearing twice. But you could do whatever you want here. It's just because some editors don't want to sign their invitation letters. They ask me, and that's why I'm there. But if you want to sign it, Bob or Jihong and not me, that's perfectly okay. If you want to rewrite this by explaining why you selected this person and why you think they would be interested and why you think their review is important, don't hesitate. You can redo all this. And then you save. And then if you don't want the reviewer to be automatically uninvited after 21 days, you can put it for 40, for 60, and they will never be uninvited. But we will not know if they are late or not. So the best thing is to put 15 and to be on top of your articles and make sure that if someone gets late, you quickly identify them.
And Alfredo, current
yeah.
protocol, let's say, for example, you put 15.
Yeah.
Are they first, of course, are getting the invite on
Yeah.
day 0, if you will. When is the next time they are alerted that a review is due? Or is it waiting until the 15th and saying it's overdue, or is it like a week before that it's saying, by the way, this,
yeah.
What is it?
If we haven't heard from them, they get it a week after. So they get multiple reminders before they actually get uninvited.
So in this particular case, having put 15 days,
Hmm.
they would get a reminder at day 7.
I
They would
think
get a
so.
reminder at day 14, and then they would get a a late notice on the 15th or 16th, correct?
Yeah, exactly. And so you can see all that in the history. If you go in the history, I'm going to cancel that because we don't want to invite this person. But if we go back to the new assignments, or let's take a, I'm so up to date that there's no, I don't have any old, let's all assigned submission. So, for example, here, no, let's take one with reviews. R1 here. Okay. So if you go to history, you go there. There is a top part, status history, but you're really interested in the correspondence history, and so you can follow the whole thing. So the paper was submitted on the 29th, was assigned a week later to the deputy editor, and a week later invitations were sent.
You know, one thing I found helpful, let's say I have
You see, reviewer sorry, just to say. So it was invited on the 14th. On the 22nd, they got a reviewer, where is it? Reviewer uninvited notice, reviewer reminder before due date. So this is something that Farzana decided. She decided to uninvite these people. But here, this one, just a reminder, that person, Amy Johnson, was reminded of the time her review was due. And when was that? So reviewer instruction and due date on the 15th. Where is Amy?
How about that reviewer reminder at the top? Reviewer reminder before due date.
Yeah, reviewer reminder here, and she was invited on the 15th, and she got a reminder on the 29th before due date.
You see, now that did, so she was not actually given a reminder 1 week after the initial invite.
No, but she got the first late reminder, because when she agrees, she gets late reminders, because she had agreed at some point, I think. Anyway, you can go in the history and follow the story, you know, what's going on with your reviewers. And it depends a lot on the dates that you put in the system, you know, and I think Farzana puts usually 7 days for the reviewers. So, you know, it depends of each editor has his or her own habits. Yes, Vicky. Vicky? Vicky's here?
Yes, Vicky's here. Good morning.
Oh, welcome. We didn't see you. So, what's the question? Welcome.
Yeah, my question is a little different than what's being asked right now. So if you want to continue with that, but I want to know how to send thank you notes to my reviewers. Is there an automatic one?
Yes, there is an automatic thank you note. Let's go back to this history.
Thank you.
There is you saw that? A reviewer thank you here.
Where, okay, so I have to go, I don't understand this. So I'm going to the history to find it.
If you want to read it, you cannot edit it. It goes as soon as we got the review, the thank you review goes
Oh,
out.
so it went to them. I didn't say anything. So you automatically sent them one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Automatically. So she got a second late reminder here, and then she submitted and she got a thank you.
And I suppose also, Vicky and Alfredo, if it automatically got sent out, but let's say you personally had invited that person and you really want to say something more. So
That's exactly it.
yeah, if you clicked on that reviewer thank you, you could also resend with a customized reply. Am I correct? If you said,
No.
if it says, oh, you cannot do that.
If I click resend, it goes.
It doesn't give you the opportunity to customize the resend.
I'm pretty sure that not.
Okay.
I would just say that's something to think about, because when I personally ask people, I typically want to send them a thank you. And what slows me down is that I have to go in here and then I have to find their email, rather than I was trying to find in the little letter part where I could customize my thank you. Because I sent a review and I knew it was going to be rejected. It was bad. And it was like, I felt bad about asking their time for something that, I didn't know if they thought it was going to be redeemable or not. I didn't think so, but I, wanted to be fair. So I want to thank them for, handling a crappy manuscript.
Okay. So I'm going to ask for that. So we were looking, and Jihong, don't hesitate to chime in. I said in order to delete or modify, we're going to have a flag, but for now you have to tell the general coordinator or me. You just tell me and I will take care of it. And then I think you all know that if you do an outside search and you find an editor, a reviewer that is not in the system, you can invite that, enter that person very easily.
Right. I want to, I came back because I tried something you were teaching us last time and I still can't do it as good as you.
Which one?
Okay, so the ability to be able to put 2 and 3 layers in my search. So
Okay.
I was able to rearrange my search. I used the personal keywords, which was great, not the built-in one. But then I couldn't do a second thing. And so I must not known how to do it. Okay, so this is good. Okay. So instead of last name, put personal keywords. Okay, I'm gonna use, because I just did this for this manuscript that was rejected. And then my value, this is interesting. I put LGBTQ, that doesn't work. So I had to put either, so put LGBTQ and you're gonna see it doesn't work. And then I tried to do just LGB and it doesn't work.
Yeah, but it means that no one used it.
Okay, all right. So then I went back and I put like.
No, it came out.
Oh, see, I must have done something really wrong.
Because you see here.
Oh, okay. I didn't get, so I end up putting other words, but if I want to do this and my criteria is they had to have an average of 4 in reviewing, how do I do?
So you go in my reviewer display here, preferences.
Okay.
You see that?
Yes.
So you go in here.
Okay.
And
if I change this, is it permanent? See, it's like,
if you submit, it's going to be permanent.
Perfect.
So you have the average review rating, the number of reviews. You can change it by changing the numbers.
The order. Okay, that's what
You,
I.
you
All right.
need to enter the numbers you want,
Okay.
and then it will order your search by those criteria. Do
Okay.
this also for this other one. It's also the same
Perfect.
thing.
Okay, that's what I missed. So I'm good now. That was
Okay.
needing to repeat the lesson.
All right. So anyone has a problem with entering new reviewers, or can I skip this? Decision. There's something very important I want to tell you. You know, reject without review, you know, minor revisions and major revisions, you and accept without major revision. You can sign those letters. But in order for me that you want to sign, you have to sign your comments to the authors. If you don't write your comments signed by Jihong Liu, associate editor, or Vicky Mays or Robert, I don't sign them for you. I leave them anonymous. So it's your decision. Some editors sign systematically, others don't sign. If you sign, I also put you in the CC. If you don't sign, I put you in the BCC. But very importantly, all the decisions that are not the accept or reject in the end, which I need by rule that bylaws that to sign, you can sign those letters. Now, very important, accept without with minor revision. When you send me this decision, for me, it means don't send back to me this paper. Once they do those minor changes, you can accept, I don't want to see it again. If you want to see it again, choose minor revision. If you don't want to see, accept without minor revision, and I will deal with the minor changes and send it to production. So this is a very important difference. Yes, Vicky.
Okay, so here's what I was having trouble with is my reviews were in, I had clicked that, you know, what it is I wanted, which was the manuscript was going to be rejected. There wasn't a space for the associate editor's comments. So what I did was, you know how you have reviewer, I just put associate editor and then put my comments in.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
Why isn't there a space for us?
Yes.
Space.
Yeah, there is two windows. There are two windows. So let's go here.
No, not a new. It'll have to be one that's yeah. You can find mine if you want, the one I just did.
I have to take one that
has the reviews in, yeah.
Yeah, for example, this one.
You can go to me and find.
Yeah, what's the number?
Oh God, now you know I don't know the number. I just did it. You just rejected it like this weekend.
Okay. So, but it will not. I will not have the option to. So let's do this.
Okay then.
I'm going to here. Where you have two spaces. One is confidential.
No. This is when it goes directly to you and I haven't sent it out for review. My problem was it had been sent out for review and it had the confidential and then it dropped down right away to just the reviewer 1 and reviewer 2. There was no space for me.
I'm kind of surprised because if I go in details,
I need the review. Go to where the review is.
What do you mean?
where, look at the, if I'm gonna send it to you, so look at, submit editor decision and comments, go there. Okay.
Yeah, but this is my screen, it's
Yeah,
not
oh,
yours.
then, yeah, never mind. Okay, it's
And
fine.
I need to find
I'll
a
figure it out.
paper where,
But I think basically what you were planning to do, Vicky, is the right way to do it. In other words, if you want to just send something confidentially to Alfredo, you put it in that first box.
Right.
If you have something that actually goes to the reviewers, you do the comments to authors, and you would go ahead and sign it there.
Yeah, that's what I did. I thought we had our own box, but I
Yeah.
just then put, like, they have reviewer 1, reviewer 2. I said associate editor and then put my comment.
Yeah,
I
I think
thought
that's
we should have a box, but I
so
guess we
here,
don't.
here, I'm in your account.
Okay, so it's done. So view, I guess, assign submissions. The old one, because it's an old one now. We're finished with it.
Yeah, but let's take a new one.
No, the new one won't have the reviews in it. It needs to have the reviews in it so you can see what I'm talking about.
I did the same way as Bob said, you know, in the confidential comments to editor-in-chief, I paste mine. And then Alfredo usually very careful and put that one into, give it to authors too.
So for example, you
It's
know,
okay. I think Bob has answered it.
submission out for revision, my assignment with decision.
You can
So
do my
maybe
assignment with decision.
you'll show me the
Do
directly.
my assignment with decision. Maybe it's that one. My assignment with decision. I don't even remember this one.
But you didn't send me
This will
anything.
do. Just no, click on, no, go back. This will do.
But you
'cause there's
see,
two
you didn't send me anything.
Yeah, I know. Go back, click on sending it to the editor, wherever this is.
You didn't send me anything.
I think this is because it got moved to Michelle.
No, but I cannot move it to Michelle before you send me. Something happened in the decision you sent. Reviewer, thank you. But where are you? You don't appear at all.
Vicky, you're muted.
Something happened, Vicky, when you...
I just said to move on because I have things in my account where without Henry or Brian, it just doesn't move along. So it's okay.
This is very
add,
strange.
One thing I did want to one thing I did want to at least mention in my mind, sometimes you know, you had that decision of accept with minor revision, which wouldn't come back necessarily. I've always kind of liked the minor revision using it, because then I'm assuming, am I correct, would the author be receiving that, you know, your manuscript has been accepted with minor revision? Because then it kind of, he feels, oh, well, I don't have to do much. Where if I give him a minor revision, at least kind of alerts him, hey, look, you know, we want to see something a little bit different than what you have put in. It just kind of, would that be a correct understanding on my part, Alfredo?
I mean, we don't tell them, I mean, I don't tell them your article has been accepted. I say, you still have residual changes to do before we can accept it. The accept with minor revision, the way I use it is really a message from you to me saying, I don't want to see this again. And
how does it differ for the author going out if we have told you accept with minor revision versus we have told you minor revision? Is basically the email that you're sending the author about the same thing?
No, because I say there are residual minor changes if it's accept
yeah. So
with
it is
minor revision. I say there are residual. I mean, it's clear that we're ready to accept once they do some minor changes. Whereas the minor revision, it's clear that we can still decide against publication if we're unhappy with the revision.
So I kind of like that one a little bit because I think it just
Yeah,
puts the person a little bit higher notice that we want a little bit more effort here.
I agree.
Unless it's
I
really
agree.
just true, just a few typos or something. But yeah.
No, I agree. But so, I mean, using those decision differently is important. Minor revision or accept with minor revision, for me, they send a different message. So this was about the decision. Again, if you want to sign the letter to the authors, sign the decision letters. If you have anonymous comments, I will sign. One thing I explained already in the process, once the revision comes back, if Wa or Michel had comments, they will see the revision before you. I want you to know what are their opinion before you decide if you want to send it again to the reviewers or send a decision. So this is the process. The other thing is, don't ask for 2 major revisions in a row. It never works. I mean, if you don't, you need to send 2 major revisions because the first major revision was not implemented correctly, it's a very poor prognosis for the article. Most likely we're going to end up rejecting. So instead of having 2 majors, just reject. It's, we never, I mean, very exceptionally gain something by insisting with an article we're not happy with. Special sections. A special section, is a section of the regular issue that deals with one question. Usually they can have 5 to 10 papers, all types. There is a roadmap editorial by the associate editors that are in charge. Should be 1 leader. And one thing you can do is you can put all the submission in the same EM folder if you want. I'm going to show you how to do this. Are you still with me? I don't see you. Okay, Jiong.
Yes, I'm
Okay,
here.
and Bob. Okay, so you go into the main menu, and you see on the left, you have search submissions, search people, and saved searches. So for example, you go do search submission, and you need a keyword there that is related to your special section. So if one of you has a special section, for example, Bob had Radical Hope. And if you do search, they didn't find anything. If we do Hope alone,
If you I know I've got a special search saved that's been very helpful that gets all the manuscripts that have been submitted for Radical Hope. And I think it was done by the criterion rather than being the manuscript number, it was something else. It was actually flagged submission, right?
Yeah, but you need to have you need to be able to identify them. So if I do student,
I think
I'm doing something. Because
Yes.
No, sorry. You need to have a keyword here. And if you do hope as the keyword, here they come. And so you can if this is the these are the articles that are related, and it identified them pretty well because all the T's. So you can go here.
Because you could have
And-
gone ahead and done it with the flag of T, right?
Yeah, but how do you give the flag?
It's been assigned as it's come in, correct? It's
If it's assigned when it comes in, yes. But otherwise, you have to create it and show it in the main menu and submit. And then if I go back to main menu, I will have student critical hove here. So
But
a
you've got
flag.
that 2024 think tank submissions. You see, you've got it.
Yeah,
So
this is
take a
yours.
look. Yeah, take a look at that though. That is done just by a flag, right?
I mean, but you need to have the flag, which has been done given by the production team. If you want to have your own,
But aren't
because you have a
selections-
special section and you want to organize it with the other editors, you can create your own.
I see. So if it's a special section or let's say a supplement, that's been tagged by the incoming, and we can just go by the flag for keeping that search. Whereas
Yeah.
what you're saying, if you want to have a search, I mean, a group on the fly, so to speak, you would have to do it with a keyword.
Yeah, for supplements, we always have flags. For special section, you have to request them. You can have a flag too, but otherwise, you can create your own directory, you know, and find all your article grouped at the same place and discuss with your other colleagues.
So, Alfredo, I just
Yeah.
searched mine. I'm on the study, what I call the adolescent mental health section.
Yeah.
And when I search mine, I only find the 4 articles assigned to me. I
Yeah.
did not find anything for other associated editors.
Exactly. So you would go here and use a keyword,
Yes,
and you would put adolescent,
right.
and you would search, and here you have you have submissions. They may be for your special section or not. So you have to look. You know, there are far too many here. You have to edit and keep the ones you want. So
Then how do you know, like this one you say is new, is this our special section or special section is closed?
that's who's the leader. I think Tanya is the leader on your special section on the
Tanya or
adults.
the man from UNC Chapel Hill, what's his name?
Nab?
No, the other guy, systematic review guy.
Evan
Yes.
Wilson, Mayor Wilson. So he would know all these, and
New
he can
submission.
go and actually flag them, because if you go here, you can select the flag. He could do it like this, or he would need to actually create this adolescent
Right. Mental health, yeah.
and then the problem is that this is going to have to be very much edited, because there are 3,000 documents in there. So this needs to go and be edited manually. All right, it's 2 p.m. Thank you so much